As we roll into the weekend, my fellow agents, I wanted to bring you an updated version of a video that I think I put out over a year ago, and it has to do with farming countdown. Now, in my opinion, this is still by far the most efficient way to farm loot in the game. I mean, if we're talking sheer volume as far as the amount of loot you can get and the time in which it takes to get it, nothing really holds a candle to this game mode. Please let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Now, since Year 5 Season 1 began, we do have a lot of new and returning players jumping back into the game, and your questions are as follows. I mean, it's pretty much, has anything changed since Countdown came out? The short answer is no. If that's all you need to hear, you can bail on the video. But for everyone else that is looking for a beginner's guide, that is exactly what I'm bringing you today. And I know some of you may be thinking, who would need a beginner's guide on a game mode that has been out for a year? But fellow agents, you would be surprised. So many people do not take advantage of this. Maybe they're just solo players. They have no desire to play with other people. And those of you listening who may feel that way, I'm telling you, you got to get over that, because you are missing out on one of the most efficient ways to farm for loot in the game. And to be clear, you never have to talk to anybody. Now, I've done hundreds of runs, and I would have to say at least 95% of those runs have been using random matchmaking. I have never spoken to an individual whatsoever. So for those of you that do not want to feel the need to communicate with other people, you do not need to do that in any way at all. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the details of Countdown. Again, this is going to be a very basic breakdown. So first of all, when it comes to your inventory, I personally recommend rolling into Countdown with at least 50 slots open in your bag. The reason I say that is you do not want to worry about inventory management when you're playing. You want to pick up your loot and go. And if you're farming for mods and skill attachments, always remember that's a separate category, so you want to make sure you have space in there as well. Now, as far as the build goes, you want to focus on two things. First of all, you want to run with a build that you are comfortable with, and secondly, you also want to keep in mind some team synergy. Now, I will leave a link to the build you're seeing on screen right now, and later today I will be bringing you another build video that is going to highlight some talents that can help not only you but your teammates as well. Now, one important thing I need to mention as we move on from the build is that if you're going to use an assault drone or an assault turret, do not drop that. When you are facing the hunters, they are going to hack it, and they are going to completely and totally mow down you and your squad. You do not want to be that person, so always be well aware of what you're using and when you're using it. Now, we all know at this point, one of the best features about Countdown is the fact that you can choose your targeted loot, and not only that, you can switch it mid-run. So let's say if you started off with assault rifle, you get something you're looking for, you can switch to backpack, and you can really switch it as many times in a row as you like. Now, as far as joining a group, you do have a few different options to choose from. We're going to go over those details right now. So as I hover over Countdown on the map, you can see in the bottom left corner, it says if I press the Y button, I play an Xbox, it's going to open the Countdown menu. Now, when it does, you will be prompted to choose your difficulty, and I strongly recommend choose at least challenging. We'll go over the details why later in the video, but that is just my recommendation to you. So the next thing you're going to choose is whether you want to create a countdown or start matchmaking. And the reason I bring this up is a lot of you who have low shade levels under 1,000, you've reached out saying people just kind of boot you from the group. Well, here's the good thing. If you start your own countdown, they can't boot you because you're the leader. So in order to create your countdown, you can see I've chosen my difficulty. I create the countdown. And once I do that, I'm brought to the screen that you're looking at right now. Now, at this point, I have a few options. I can start countdown, which I obviously don't want to do because I'm on my own, or I can go back to the countdown menu. Now, once I do that, you can see my difficulty is already chosen. Now I need to find more agents. Now, there is a UI issue in the game. In order to get to that find more agents category, you need to lower your difficulty, scroll down to apply changes, move over to find more agents. And if what I said made no sense whatsoever, just follow exactly what you saw me do on the screen, you will be good to go. Now that brings me to my next point, which is if you are the leader of this countdown, it is your responsibility to start the countdown run. The game is not going to automatically do it. You can see it says waiting for you to start countdown. There's a clear indication on screen that your group is full. What you want to do at this point is open up your menu. When you do that, you'll go over to social, and there you're going to see the prompt at the bottom. You're going to press X in this case because I'm on Xbox again. You're going to start the countdown. You're good to go. Now, the reason I bring this up is people get pretty damn jumpy, and you will start to see people bail from the group anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds in if you do not start the thing. And one final thing I need to mention about matchmaking is even if you use random matchmaking, you just join a random group, meaning you're not trying to create your own, you can still be put as the group leader. So please pay attention to that detail. You know how I roll at the channel. I'll use myself as an example. There have been so many times where I'm the group leader, I have no idea. I'm thinking to myself, why the hasn't this person started the countdown run? And I'm that person. So once again, to be clear, pay attention to those details. Do not be me, my fellow agents. All right, so now we're in countdown. We got 15 minutes on the clock. The first thing I do is open up my map. And for those of you that may not know, when you jump into countdown, you're broken up into 2 groups of 4. My recommendation is try to stay together in a group of 8. It's going to ensure that you not only can rip through the thing, but you're also getting the most amount of loot possible, which brings me to the first step, which is deactivating the countermeasures. Now, in this case, you can see both groups started off at the same countermeasure, but even if you don't, you are going to wind up meeting in the middle, which is where you are then going to decide which of the encounters you're going to start with. Now, one thing I want to mention, and the reason I'm bringing this up is some of you still ask, hey, is there a bug in the game? The hunters are not dropping loot at the beginning. They are not supposed to anymore. And the reason for that is people were jumping into the game, taking out these initial hunters, then bailing, so they pushed all of that loot to the end. And in my opinion, that was definitely a good move. Now, here's the thing, and again, this is for those of you who are just new to this game mode or just returning. If you do not know what to do or where to go once those countermeasures are cleared, open up your map and just follow everyone else. Ideally, everyone will be going to the closest encounter. And once you've cleared that, you're going to follow the group to the next encounter. Once the second encounter is clear, you'll then follow everyone to the main objective. Now, that brings me to a very important term when you're playing this game, and that is situational awareness. And the reason I use that term is some people are going to jump into this game mode and their only focus is to kill as many NPCs as possible, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I want to make sure we can actually get through this thing. So I'm looking at the screen and I want to make sure that whatever needs to get done to clear that encounter is actually being done. It could be interacting with the computer. There are a bunch of different ones you're going to run into, and if you have any questions, please let me know. And I would have to say at least 70 to 80% of the time, that's the groups you're running into. And again, you're not communicating with anyone whatsoever. You can if you choose to, but it is not necessary. You're seeing people work together in a team, which is absolutely awesome. So even if you are brand new to this, pay attention to those details, learn those mechanics, because it's only going to improve not only your gameplay, but the gameplay of everyone around you. And it's so great to see everyone have that synergy as you're playing. Now, as I start to wrap this up, I want to mention a connection issue that you may encounter. For me, it happens once or twice out of every 10 attempts, if that, and you know it right out of the gate when you start your countdown run. So if you load into the game and you notice that it says half the team is disconnected, do not waste your time and stay in that run. That means there is a server issue. All you need to do is leave, and in order to do that, you open up your menu, you go to social, you click on your own gamer tag. Once you do that, you will see a prompt to leave countdown. You leave, and then you use matchmaking system again, and you should be good to go. With all that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this up. As always, I want to thank you all for your incredible support of this channel. Now, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay, and you'll see at the end of the video, I wound up getting exactly 50 pieces of gear. That was just pure luck. Again, you're going to get a ton of loot. Make sure you are paying attention to your inventory. Again, you do not want to have to waste your time when you're playing, trying to decide what you're going to keep, what you're going to get rid of. You want to be able to just focus on the actual game mode. You're going to worry about all that stuff at the end. I sincerely hope this helps you out, and as I said earlier, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. 2 final things I want to mention as I wrap this thing up. First of all, you do not want to pop the flare at the end of countdown until there are about 10 seconds left. So even if you clear all the hunters out, there are still going to be NPCs that will drop from helicopters. So you want to make sure you use that time. You can get more loot from those NPCs, and you can obviously get some XP as well. Now, the last thing is that when you're playing countdown and you clear it, you also gain countdown resources. And with those, you're going to go to the base of operations. You're going to go to the countdown vendor. I will show you an example of that at the end. There you can buy named caches, exotic caches, and hopefully get something you've been trying to get for a very long time. That is going to do it for this video, my friends, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
If it wasn't for you, we would have lost the power plant. Thank you, Agent.